Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our YouTube live today, everyone. Let's get into it. Is one of the provinces of Canada separating or perhaps planning to become the 51st state of the US? Are all Alberta residents going to receive their own Alberta passport after this referendum? Are you planning to apply for PR to Canada and worried how this will all affect you and perhaps your chances if you haven't applied yet? And as of January 2025, the Canadian government has reported 3 million temporary residents inside Canada, meaning they're on work permits, study permits, or temporary status, who have a difficult time converting to PR. Are you in this pool or are you planning to get in line inside Canada and maybe get a PR? I'd be careful if I was in your shoes. How is the newly elected federal government in Canada, led by Mark Carney, going to affect the immigration pathways leading to permanent residency in Canada? Especially the Start a Visa program and the Quebec Immigrant Investor Program, which are the only direct PR business immigration programs that are left in Canada. What are the latest statistics reported from the Canadian government, and what can you expect in terms of political shifts in immigration, which could affect your existing or future application to Canada? There should only be four types of people who are watching this video now. You're planning to apply for your PR to come to Canada, or you're out of status in the US and you're looking to come to Canada. You may fall into that first category as well. You're a temporary foreign worker or student inside Canada, worried about your PR and looking for options. And or four, you're stuck in a long processing backlog for your Canadian PR and just are looking for some kind of data, insights, or hope that what is happening. Why are they not processing my PR? Those are the four people that probably will be watching this live stream or this video. Unedited, uncensored, no special effects, no studio, no production crew, no sugarcoating, and exposed truth, just like the rest of our YouTube videos. Quick introduction, if you don't know me, I'm Reza, the founder of INWÉ Immigration, your gateway to alternative residencies and citizenships across the world. We have an active portfolio of more than 20 countries and services that open up a world of possibilities for yourself, your family, or even your clients. We have successfully helped thousands of families since 2018 from 55 different countries navigate the complex landscape of business investment migration. We cover Europe, Central America, the North American region, Caribbean islands, and even New Zealand. Whether you're seeking fast-track residency, looking to invest in real estate abroad, aiming to retire comfortably, enhance quality of life for yourself, maybe your children, lower cost, high quality education, find crypto-friendly tax countries, or even acquire a direct citizenship without moving anywhere, whether it's for yourself, future generations, we help with all the process. We provide more than just visa assistance. This is all about customized solutions, not cookie cutter stuff. Our global partnerships and multilingual team speaking over 10 languages ensure that no matter where you're from and where you're planning to go, or maybe not go, just applying for passport, we're here to help. You can engage with our office through our website, contact us, or the links in this video. Let's jump into it, folks. Thanks for your patience. And of course, we're going to get back to your questions on our YouTube live right after. Yes, the Liberal government has won 170 seats in the Canadian Parliament in the recent election as of April 28th, 2024, making it a minority government. We all should know that by now. Just 2 seats shy of a majority. Oh my God, that must have hurt. The Conservatives are close right there with 143 seats, breathing down the neck of the Liberals. Obviously, a minority government could mean a future election, maybe in a year or two, which is what the Conservatives are gunning for, to have another go at winning the elections. And folks, I am politically neutral. I don't watch the news so much. I don't follow any political group, so it doesn't matter. I report to you the truth and how it will affect you. That's all we care about. Who's in power doesn't matter, because we all know politicians are all the same. And Canada announces its sovereignty and counters US's 51st state rhetoric. While King Charles plans a visit to Canada this year to solidify its autonomy and its sovereignty, It's all a game of political chess right now in North America, Europe, and the rest of the world. But what has stirred about the controversy in Canada is Alberta's rhetoric on separation. We saw this back in the 70s and 80s with Quebec, the Bloc Québécois pushing to separate, and that's how Toronto came about to become the economic hub of Canada. Thank you, Quebec, for that. And now it's a return to the same story, except for the western province of Canada, namely Alberta. Alberta's Premier Danielle Smith opens the door to separation referendum potentially in 2026, next year. So she has indicated openness to a 2026 referendum on Alberta's independence if a citizen-led petition garners sufficient support to initiate the referendum. Recent polls reported by the Associated Press show that the support has risen for separation from 25% to 36%. Obviously, that's a long way to go to actually separating, and it would be quite interesting if they separated, But I think it's also a negotiation tool for the pipeline to the West Coast to export their oil, and I think that's what's going to make that difference with Alberta. Bill 54 was passed by the Alberta legislature recently. This bill lowers the threshold for initiating referendums in the province, making it easier for citizen-led initiatives to propose significant constitutional changes for the province with petitions from citizens. So let's look at how is this new government policy in Canada going to affect startup visa program and the infamous Quebec Immigrant Investor Program in 2025 and beyond, which are the only two direct PR business immigration programs. They're available as of the posting of this video or live stream. The newly elected Prime Minister, Mark Carney, plans to stabilize immigration targets according to housing availability and public services. So meaning that he wants it to be proportional to the population, the infrastructure, the availability of housing, the labor shortages in different regions. He just doesn't want it to be disconnected. This is what they've said. Whether they'll do it or not, well, we'll have to see. We always have to take everything with a grain of salt, as they say, with what politicians say. And I don't care which political group it is, which prime minister it is, who's on which side of the aisle in parliament or on the political spectrum. It's usually blah, 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 blah. The Canadian government is planning to reduce the total number of temporary residents inside Canada who are on work permits and study permits to a total of 2 million. Right now, it's around 3.02 million inside Canada who are kind of hoping for a PR, but they're not. This means a total reduction of 1 million residents is the target for the next year for the Canadian government. How will this be done? Doesn't necessarily mean they will kick out 1 million temporary residents. Just means many people will not have the path to PR and won't be able to renew, or they'll be refused in their renewal status. And therefore, they have to leave, get married to a Canadian, or go underground. I mean, that's kind of, you agree with me, right? The lucky few out of the 1 million would be able to convert to PR, but we don't believe that's going to be more than 10% of the total population inside Canada who are on temporary status right now. Although it is a mandate of the government to focus more on inside Canada, but how many of those speak French? We're all exactly in that in-demand occupation that the government wants, or are going to the rural. It's a disconnection between reality. In addition to making sure the immigration goals of the country stay intact, the government will enforce stricter controls on the temporary foreign worker programs, basically meaning skilled workers who come here with offers of employment, and it is not a direct PR program. So they just come here with work permits and they work, and in the hopes of maybe jumping on or piggybacking off another skilled worker program later on and converting to PR. They are going to make it stricter. It is already very strict. I don't think they can actually make it stricter than it is now, because it is tough right now, folks. If you're looking at getting a labor market impact assessment coming in, or even an LMI exempt business immigration program like a C-1011 or intercompany transfer, the benchmark has risen. The thresholds are high. Officers are in no mood with their bad coffee to approve you. Some get approved, most don't. In the skilled immigration PR paths, such as express entry, the points threshold will remain high, and the focus, everyone should know by now, will be pushing newcomers to rural regions of Canada and prioritizing French-speaking applicants, as we mentioned. Between 8.5 to 12% of the entire Canadian permanent resident pipeline from now until 2029 should be French-speaking. Very ambitious. Not sure how that'll work out. How have these policies affected SUV and Quebec immigrant investor programs in Canada this year and beyond? Remember, folks, we're always posting about key details for investor business immigration, for families, entrepreneurs, and professionals seeking residencies, passports, and tax relief across the globe. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're asking why, well, it's free, and you can unsubscribe as easily as you subscribe. In 2023, 1,468 permanent residents, I should clean my glasses next time, were approved to Canada under the federal SUV program. So 2 years ago, 1,468 permanent residents were processed, not applied, processed under the startup visa program, the direct business immigration program to Canada for PR. This number exploded in 2024, whereby the Canadian government actually admitted, meaning processed PRs, of 6,099 permanent residents within the self-employed category and the startup visa category, which are the combined federal business immigration categories, with close to 5,000 of those being SUV out of the 6,099. So imagine close to 1,500 in 2023, and then in 2024, close to 5,000 PRs were processed. That's amazing. That's when we also, in 2023 and 2024, actually, we received the most amount of our PR success stories. We witnessed a fast-paced processing capacity last year by the IRCC, when we also reported in many of our videos and live streams about the load balancing of the IRCC centers being involved in processing startup visa PR applications, which included IRCC processing centers in Whitehorse, that's way up north, Vancouver, Montreal, Mississauga, and everywhere else. However, this was all pulled back second half of 2025, and this is why everyone in the SUV pipeline who has applied saw a huge slowdown. Suddenly, they had an active file going on, and then there was a gap of 6 to 8 months. Nothing was happening. This is what happened. The lower targets, reshuffling of resources, firing over 3,000 immigration department staff here in Canada. The new lower immigration targets across all programs in Canada for 2025 and 2027 means less processing numbers for even startup visa programs and every other program there is out there. With the 2025 target this year being reduced to 2,000 from 5,000, which is a 60% reduction. Hence the reason many applications are seeing a slowdown in the case processing. This number is even lower for 2026 and 2027, but this yet has to be seen, as the government lately has this pattern or trend of revising the immigration targets every 6 months. So we just have to see what will happen over the course of the next, let's say, 8 to 10 months. The bad news is that if you are not applying for priority processing as per the designated organizations, which are labeled priority or non-priority for the startup visa as per the government, you will be in for a long haul for your PR. The good news, however, on the other side, is that the Canadian government approximately 6 to 8 months ago started a 3-year open work permit program for startup visa PR applicants. So meaning you applied for a PR, then they give you the option of applying for the open work permit with your family, so your kids can study, you can work, your spouse has an open work permit for 3 years, open work permit, and to stay inside Canada while your PR is being processed. It's also renewable after 3 years in case for any reason it takes longer. And then open work permit means you can work for yourself, you can work part-time for 3 employers, you can work for another employer and work for yourself, or a combination of everything. How about the Quebec Immigrant Investor Program? I know it's not as popular, but how has the new government shift changed, and how has the Quebec government's policies changed, and how could it materialize in the future in terms of future changes in this only passive investment immigration program in Canada. Of course, it was shut down back in November 2019, just before COVID, good timing. And it was finally reopened after many extensions in January 2024. Wow, that was a big break. Just shows you how slow and inefficient government can be. Even if they know the program will bring billions in economic loans to the local provincial businesses, they will take their time. However, well, let's see, they lost about $4 or $5 billion in economic loans from that time to today, till 2024. Well, that was a good move, Quebec. However, but it gets even better than this. However, when the program was reopened in January 2024, due to the many changes such as language requirements of French, higher investment, new donation amount, mandatory work permit and residency requirements to stay in Quebec 1 out of 2 years before you can get your PR process, and a second-year school diploma, the program was not popular and remains unpopular. Having the lowest number of applications since the inception of this program in 1986. Wow. You've got to be very creative to ruin a program like that. However, another interesting factoid. As of May 2024, the Quebec government decided not to disclose or publish any statistics on the Quebec Immigrant Investor Program, which was a major change since the program has been reporting regularly and actively since 1986. This is an obvious move by the government not to be criticized, and how few applicants have applied for the program, how they're giving up billions. They're literally letting billions of dollars, they're leaving it on the table, and how unpopular it is. Governments have a special skill of sweeping their dirty deeds under the rug, and yes, we see that as well across the board. But the main question is, how will the new Liberal government elected as of April 28th, 2025 affect the Quebec Immigrant Investor Program? Well, that's not the question you should be asking. The fact is, no matter who is in control of the Parliament and government in Canada, the Quebec government will continue to do its thing, its autonomous version of the Canadian immigration system, by having the only passive investment program in the country. The question you should be asking is, when will the Quebec government run out of money or need more money for their economic loans and activities, and then look to the foreign investors to fill their coffers? Similar how the UK is planning to restart its Tier 1 investor visa program because it needs innovation. Well, no, they just need money and investment. That's the question everyone should be asking now in Quebec and about the Canadian program. Politicians are not the brightest people on this planet, folks. They're manipulative, but not the brightest. I think we can all agree on that. No matter which political side you stand on, it's all the same. We expect the Quebec government to announce revisions to the QIIP program sometime in 2026 to reopen the floodgates to investors again and rake in billions in the refundable, 5-year refundable $1 million investment, plus the $200,000 donation each investor has to submit. It's just a matter of time before Quebec government wakes up and realizes their opportunity costs. We believe that they will still implement the language requirement in the revisions perhaps in the future, but more flexible, such as the spouse or children learning French instead of the main applicant. For example, a promissory note, maybe extended timelines, and so forth. Time will tell. And we will be reporting this on our YouTube channel in the future when the program is more flexible for potential non-French speaking applicants. The fact remains that the only direct federal PR business immigration programs still active are the Startup Visa Program of Canada, SUV, created during the previous Conservative government back in 2013 and continued and operated by the Liberal government after that till today. It continues to be supported by both sides of the political spectrum, with strong lobby groups from venture capital, angel investors, and incubators to keep the program going here in Canada, because no politician wants to say, I want to stop innovation and investment into the country, right? It doesn't sound good. Yes, it's slower now, but what are your other feasible options to Canada? What other programs do you have to apply for direct PR to Canada? I'm listening. I can only hear crickets. Canada will continue as a sovereign nation, and its immigration program will continue no matter if we have 9 provinces or 10 plus 3 regions, territories. Although slower with lesser processing power, everything else is noise. If you like immigration hacks, creative immigration solutions, or in-depth analysis and exposed truth about immigration policies and updates around the world, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're asking why, well, it's free. That's why. And nothing in life is free except subscribing to this channel. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to go into our questions and answers. If you see the potential for yourself, your family, your clients in securing a second or third citizenship residency, make sure to stay connected with us for the latest updates and opportunities on global residencies and citizenships. At INWÉ, we're dedicated in crafting customized solutions for our clients. We offer a variety of programs backed by our guidance through transparency, choice, and security. With comprehensive liability insurance, client trust accounts in our North American banking institutions, and our multilingual team helping clients from over 55 different countries. Ready to take the next step? Click the link down below. Contact us if you're qualified, or we'll check if you're qualified. And of course, you can always book a one-on-one session for a more customized one-on-one face-to-face session with me using the description of this below. Let's get into the questions here. Rosa Melchile. Hi, sir. If I applied in 2021 for the startup visa program, my file has been opened and it's being processed. The priority ones will be finalized first. Even mine was open before. There's no clarity on that, Rosa, because your designated organization was not a priority. I understand that. And so there's no clear way because, IRCC, I always say, it works like a black box. However, because of the huge number of new applications that were processed in 2024 or that came into the backlog, plus this new rule, we believe that many, even our clients who were non-priority, have been affected, right? So since 2021, 2022, 2023, they've been sort of pushed back a little bit. That's what we're seeing. However, priority was picking up last year, but then it slowed down because of all the terminations of the staff and the new immigration targets. So overall, everything is slow. But yes, a non-priority is even slower. However, Rosa, keep in mind that as soon as you pass the minimum threshold timeline for processing of your PR, you can reach out to IRCC to do a follow-up. Maybe that'll wake them up. But don't go for a writ of mandamus because there's over 10,000 of those right now and you'll get nowhere. Vilas Tessa, good morning, Raza. Nice to see you again. Vilas, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Max Philip, do you think, are there any chance that Canadian government introduced residency by citizenship? We hope so, Max, but with this government, probably not. Okay, but we're positive. We're hopeful. I wish they would, right? Because it would just cut through all this BS programs that they know it doesn't work and it's all a scam anyways, right? However, the Liberal government is not really up for these types of programs. They like to make everything a little bit more complicated, and that's why Alberta wants to separate too, because they're kind of like, hey, give us a pipeline to the west. If you don't, we're going, right? And with investment immigration, it's unlikely with this government. However, this is more of a center-left type government, I would say, but it's unlikely. The Conservatives, if they came in, I would say there's higher chances. However, it is not their priority. Neither political group has a priority of bringing in an investment migration program, a new one to Canada, right? So it's a long way to go, Max. Great question. Rosita says, bonjour, Reza. Bonjour, back to you, Rosita. Jai Jewel says, good morning, Reza. Do we have speed now on the processing of SUV applications submitted since 2021? It's already past the 40-month standard process standard. Yes, Jai, there is a huge processing delay right now. Everyone is feeling this pain, not just you. We have heard from specific stakeholders in the industry, designated organizations, that they have feedback that this summer things will process a little bit better. But the problem is we've got too many applications and the processing pipeline is too slow, too narrow. So the slowness will continue. However, we will see progress in the second half of this year, but not everyone, because they cannot process everyone. The target is 2,000 this year. That's it. Vilas says, Reza, are you suggesting the PR prospects are only 10%? No, I'm saying the people inside Canada, who are about 3 million plus, who want to convert to PR, not all of them will be able to convert to PR. It's unlikely. So I would say around 10% of them. Safa Salah, hi Reza, miss you. Hey Safa, how are you? Great to see you coming online with the rest of our audience today. Thank you, folks. It's good to get an engaged community and get some feedback. What have you heard in the market? Villas Desa, hi Reza, SUV 2022 December priority. 3 months after responding to our procedural fairness letter, RCC requested contact details. It's 40 days since the contact details were submitted by each member. What and when to expect? I remember, Vilas, you asked me this as well. They can take up to like 2 months or 3 months to answer. So don't do like day counting of when are they going to reply. But it's a PFL. You responded, they will respond, usually within 90 days, usually. Okay, so you're on your way, Vilas. Keep us informed. I'd love to see what happened, or even, the result. You can even email me. I would love to see what happened, because they have a new way of processing everything. Jai Jewel, what other English-speaking countries has a pathway for entrepreneurs such as the SUV program? Well, Jai, English-speaking programs, like main English-speaking programs, are a little bit tight, right? You've got US and Canada. I mean, the startup in US is very challenging. You've got UK, which is and they're tightening their immigration, so they have a whole new set of policies that they're potentially implementing. Although they are introducing the £2 million investment visa that they had closed down years ago. Australia's, not better. New Zealand has the investor program, but again, it's 5 million New Zealand dollars. It's you cannot find an English-speaking country which is an easy and good program like SUV. You have to go to bilingual countries like Malta, like Dubai, like Panama, these places, or even consider some of the European countries which are not English speaking, to be very honest with you. Haitam, Mr. Haitam, how are you? Hello, Reza, I hope you're well. We applied to PR in October 2023, so when we can expect to receive our application number? Haitam, it's going to take about 3.5 years, easy to 4 years, because it's a non-priority, and you're in October 2023. We have groups from 2022 and 2023 who have not been processed yet. I have a group from 2023 who doesn't even have a file number yet, Haitam. So you're not the only one. It's slow. And remember, folks, just do regular math. It's basic mathematics. 2 + 2, okay? The targets from 6,000 for startup visa program were reduced to 2,000 this year. It's a huge reduction, so they cannot process everyone this year. They cannot process everyone next year. It's a tight, very narrow processing pipeline compared to the backlog. Max Philippe, does Canadian government plan any new business startup immigration programs? Carney is former banker. I think he should understand why it's good to bring more capital to Canada. Yes, Max, we hope so, but he's still part of the Liberal government. And to be very honest with you, they are not investment business. Look at these programs that they've created throughout their lifetime here. The startup visa program was created by the Conservatives, not the Liberals. So since the Liberals came, they have actually not created any good business or investment immigration programs in Canada. So that's a fact. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. So, I mean, if they do with Carney, great, but I think it's wishful thinking. There's too much of a resistance on the Liberal side for this. Safa Salah, we're currently engaged with angel investors who are being prioritized. However, since receiving the pre-arrival services in August 2024, we haven't received any substantial updates. Any suggestions? Safa, second half of this year, I've heard June onwards, right? Like end of June onwards, things are going to move. So potentially you're going to see something going on second half of the Layli Reza said, thank you, sir. Thank you. Back to you. Arbab, Dr. A32. Hello, Reza. You have the language infrastructure in your team. I want to suggest that you sell the World Cup destination, Canada, USA, Mexico, for visa processing for World Cup lovers. That's actually a pretty cool idea. Dr. A32, are you in the travel agency by any chance? Because it feels like you are. It's amazing. But at the end of the day, the Canadian government and the embassies, they refuse a lot of people, right? So there's going to be so many people from all over the world, South America and Africa, Middle East, Asia, wanting to come to World Cup, Canada, US, and Mexico. And Canada is very tight on its visa processing, very stingy. So even if you charge to do those visas, it cannot be, it's minute. Plus, you don't know if they'll be approved. So if they even bought a ticket for a game, it doesn't mean the Canadian government, the embassies, the immigration department has its own mind. They don't care. You could have an admission from the best university in Canada and the embassy could still refuse you. So I'd be careful. I'd prefer to go to Mexico instead. But great business idea, and I'm sure there's going to be so many companies promoting that as well. There's going to be a little bit of an economic boost during the World Cup, obviously, in all the major cities that are hosting games, whether it's Atlanta in the U.S., Toronto. I'm not sure of the schedule yet, but obviously Toronto is there. But great idea. Vilas Desai, what are the prospects for closed LMIAs to get approved for PR? Close to none. Vilas Desai, just so you know, we had one of those which we applied over a year ago. No decision. Don't waste your time. Jai Jewel, what entrepreneur pathway is available for Malta? So they've got just you donate and contribute to the government there, and you get a PR within 6 to 8 months. Yeah, I know. It's so different than the Canadian system. Canadian system's like, you got to do this, 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 you got to do this. Then you're going to wait for 3-4 years, and then maybe we'll give you a PR. Yeah, that's a Canadian dream, right? Opposite the American dream. It's like, pay us $5 million and you're in, right? Besides the EB5, which is like, maybe you'll get your money, maybe you won't. But Malta is pretty straightforward. You contribute, you're not on some Interpol database. You have 500,000 euro net worth. So that means assets and everything. Out of that could be 150,000 liquid. You contribute and donate to government, pay some admin fees, processing fees, and within 6 to 8 months, you get a visa, you come into the country, you do your biometrics, pick up your PR card. It is a permanent resident card in Europe. It is the only permanent residency program in Europe that gives you a PR up front. None of the other programs like Portugal, Spain, Greece, Italy give you a permanent residency up front. And it can cost anywhere from 150, 160,000 euros, depending on your family size. And you can rent a property or buy a property, but you don't need to buy a property. So you can rent a property of 14,000 euros plus per year rental on a 5-year lease. That's all you need. You don't need to even live there for 5 years. It's just a PR card that gives you full access for 5 years, whether you live there or not. And you get visa-free travel in Europe. You can live, reside, and work and study in Malta. The work, you will need to apply for a work permit inside when you have a job offer, which is also possible, but through a different regulation. So hopefully I gave you a quick overview in a nutshell on Malta. Jai Jewel, I submitted my startup visa application to Canada in December 2021. RCC started processing it in September 2022, probably, not 21, and requesting for more documents which were submitted in October 2024. And I've been waiting since then. It's 7 months. That's perfectly normal, Chad. And as I've been explained to everyone today, waiting 8-10 months right now since last summer or last fall is so normal. Everyone literally is on the same boat as you, Chad. This second half of this year, you're going to see traction. This is what we've heard from stakeholders. No guarantee. Nobody has the crystal ball. I don't claim to do so either. But they have to start working. I mean, they're getting salaries, folks. These officers supposedly processing IRCC SUV PRs, they're getting salaries. They should be doing something. So far, I haven't seen anything this half. Maybe they're gone on an extended vacation, celebration that the Liberals won. Who knows? Dr. 832, hi Reza, given that I have a bank statement with the 6 months transaction history and my other bank account has the volume without the transaction history, can I submit both statements for an SUV? 6 months and other bank has the volume without transaction. Can I? Yeah, I mean, as long as you meet the minimum PR settlement funds, this is besides the work permit, and you show some investment amounts, and you can justify any large amounts that have been deposited or debited from your bank account the last 6 months. Yes, plus the other eligibility, which is medical, criminality, like a police check, and proof of language. And Dr. 832, I have a feeling you're from. Where are you from? Tell me. Nigeria? I don't know. Was I right or no? Maybe I was wrong. Sorry. Vilas Desai. For my SUV application, what could be the next step by RCC? Oh, there's two ways. So either they make a decision, so you're gone or you're approved, or they can ask for more details. because it's like a chess game, back and forth. So it can be more back and forth. So if they're not 100% convinced on your response, Vilas, but potentially you could be approved. So that's where you are. You're at a crossroads right now. Dr. 32, I told you so. Don't ask me how I know. I just know. Okay. Jajul, what entrepreneur? Jajul, Dr. 832, Villas Desai, Max Philippe. Those caps, 10 startups per designated organization for the startup visa program, which was implemented last April 2024, must end in December 2026. Do you think RCC will keep this cap? It's in 2026, so next year, December, Max. They would never open up the floodgates to like unlimited levels of support. If anything, they're looking to cut more designated organizations. They're looking to cut more, Max. So, and the rumor is, everyone, there's a major SUV change, policy change coming up. It's just a rumor. It's been overdue since last November, October, I must admit. But when it'll be implemented and what exactly will be, we don't know. But the IRCC is not looking to increase, Max, the designated organizations or the number of levels of support to issue. They are happy and would be even happy if there was less applicants. That's a fact. You can quote me. Hallelujah. Hitam, hello Reza. Is there any chance to benefit from the time I stayed with a closed work permit, an open work permit, to get into other PR programs later in case of SUV PR difficulties? Unless you apply for those programs. So one would be, let's say, work experience, Hitam. So you have an open work permit, let's say, in the new round. You work for an employer, so potentially you could be accumulating that, right? I don't know if you know French or not, probably not, like me, but you could be like working for an employer, maybe looking at rural communities, right? That's the only way that it could benefit you. Plus, obviously you may get a citizenship discount when you're applying for citizenship, but that's after the PR. And the question is about getting a PR through another route. Working for an employer, not one that you control, to gain work experience, or maybe your spouse. I would look at rural. Those are the places to go, really, because it won't affect your SUV. You can still work on the SUV working anywhere outside of Quebec. It's a federal program. You're working remote. Villas Desai. So what are the options for closed rule LMIA to get a PR? Why have an LMI work permit if there's no opportunity for PR? LMIs do not lead to PR, folks. This is a fact. You can quote me. You can screenshot me. You can screen record this. LMIAs do not lead to PR in any way, whether express entry, PR supported, non-PR. It is useless for PR and difficult to get now. Please, Villas, press the delete button, wipe it from your mind. Whoever put that there, it is non-existent anymore. Okay, LMIAs are useless for PR, 100%. And you can quote me on that. Dr. 832, yeah, Nigeria it is. Max Philippe, what rumor about policy change? Oh my God, Max. There's one designated organization that's saying that, they're going to start cutting designated organizations. They may remove a couple in the next couple months. There's others who are saying that there will be a client-facing change that we've reported before, like eligibility change, minimum investment, higher language, and there will be a minor back-end change in terms of how IRCC, let's say, communicates and processes commitment certificates with designated organizations. There's rumors all around. Right now, nobody knows. This is just rumors. It could happen next month, next week, 6 months. We've been playing the guessing game and we've been wrong. IRCC is a great poker player. Okay, so if you've ever played poker, they are the amazing poker player because you don't know what they'll do. But they don't know how to play. That's the problem. They don't know how to play. They have an amazing poker face. That's it. But they're the worst player on earth. They cheat, but they have the best poker face. So just to give you an analogy of what the IRCC is in the poker world. And if you don't gamble, that's okay. I don't gamble either. Although I did study statistics in my university the years, and it was very interesting to look at the probability of success in gambling. Anyways, Villas Desa, my son is expecting his LMI soon. That's fine, Villas. LMIs or LMIAs, they can give you a work permit. In no way does it, in any way, help you get a PR. Work experience does, and working for an employer inside Canada does, being in a rural, having French, being in a specific program or high demand, in-demand occupation, those things do. The LMIA is useless. It just gives you a work permit. It gets you in, okay? So it's kind of like somebody who jumps into a swimming pool and doesn't know how to swim. You can dive in. How will you get out? You need to swim. What is that lifeline to swim? It's a PR program. If you don't jump in and there's no lifeline ready for you, what will you do? Drown. And that's the analogy, and that's what I'll leave everyone with today. Please apply with a plan, everyone. Don't apply for the sake of applying. Apply with a clear roadmap, clear outcomes, and don't settle with maybe. Okay? We'll see you next Thursday live, unedited, uncensored, no production team, no special effects. And keep in mind, folks, we're here to report to you on the global immigration programs and investment programs. Next 2 weeks, just to give you a preview, we are promoting real estate investment and doing comparables between Dubai and Canada and Europe and Panama. So that will be our focus for the next 2 weeks. And then after that, we're back to maybe sort of visa. We'll do some Portugal, right? There's a lot of good programs. Also Italy, very, very popular. Vilas Desai says, that's what I was expecting from you. Be in Canada for a couple of years and try other options. Yeah, I mean, you've got to navigate. You have to have a clear plan, Vilas. Just coming here with the rest of the 3 million temporary residents and hoping the Canadian government will throw a lifeline to you just out of thin air like they did during COVID, it's not going to happen. You've got to have a clear engineered roadmap of what will lead to PR and where should you be focusing on. Jai Jules says, thank you, Rizza. Thanks, everyone. Jai, the Haitam, Dr. 832, Vilas Desai, Max, great questions. Safa Salah, always amazing to see you online as well. And of course, Rosa, who was the first person today to ask a question and put a comment. Thank you, folks. We'll be back again next Thursday. Enjoy your spring wherever you are. And remember, do your homework, do your research, and then apply. Dr. 832 says, we also need your crystal ball for the SUV with the new government too. Yeah, I mean, I did my spiel, Dr. 832 here on what we expect. We expect slowdowns, we expect slow processing, but we do expect that the 3-year plan will be changed halfway through. That's what I expect with the Liberal government, because they've been changing their immigration targets so many times. Plus, they don't have control over the parliament. The NDP, their partners in a coalition government are gone. So it's going to be a grind and it's going to be slow. And I think that's with everything. Government policies, SUV, immigration, everything. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Take care. See you next Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. My watch is, the alarm is going off. Apologies for that. Take care. Bye-bye now.